Okay, we are back for this is round one of draft.
Yes, round one of draft.
So, not following along with standard. This is what we did last week. So
we'll get back to standard though. Don't
standard
worry.
draft, and then we'll finish with round four of standard.
Yes, we got to have the limited players have some time to shine.
Yeah. So you took a look at the decks. What was everyone in?
So we have Daniel Johnston at the bottom of your screen, which you can see. And then at the top, we have Kris Angus. Daniel's playing a blue-black. Typically in this format, blue-black is mill, but he's not really in the mill deck. He's in a blue-black kind of flyers and mid-range deck. He's got a couple
of evasion.
Little bit of evasions. He's playing. He's got a Thopter sub theme, so he's got like the 4-mana. The 4-mana creature that puts 2 Thopters into play, tap 2 untapped artifacts you control.
Right.
Target creature gains unblockable until the end of turn.
So more evasion.
More evasion. Exactly. And he's also got the big bomb, the demon, 6 mana for a 4/4 or 6 mana for a 6/6. Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, you draw a card and lose 1 life.
Okay.
So it should be pretty interesting.
Yep.
And then Kris Angus is playing a very low to the ground, very aggressive red-white deck.
Okay.
So we should have a fun time with that. He's got a lot of combat tricks. The 1 mana target creature gains +1/+1 and prevent all combat damage that would be dealt to it. He's got 3 of those, and then he's got a mighty leap, and he's also got some equipment in there. So it should be pretty good. So we got the die roll going on.
So it's a 9 for Kris.
And not a 9. It's a 6.
Yeah.
It's 6 for Daniel. So it looks like Kris is going to go first, which should be a big advantage in this because he's playing the more aggressive deck of the two. So I'm excited. I think Kris has the edge in this matchup because Daniel didn't have as many removal spells. So.
Right. Yeah, and especially if you're trying to deal with really quick creatures.
Yes.
You can fall behind really quickly if you don't have a way to get rid of them.
Yeah, especially once Kris's creatures start getting renowned and getting bigger.
Yeah.
Daniel does have a couple of blockers, though. He's got Sigiled Starfish, which should help out.
The good old Scryfish.
The good old Scryfish, yes. Exactly. So players are going to be taking a look at their opening hands.
Looks like Daniel's good with his.
Daniel's body language seems like he might be mulliganing. Yep, he's mulliganing.
Yeah.
And Kris seems
Going
good
back
with
to
his.
a pile shuffle.
Yeah. Now, I've played against both these players before. Kris is a very strictly limited type of guy.
Yeah.
Well, whereas Daniel's an all-around Magic player. Just graduated high school, is a good kid. Very smart. Smarter than I was at his age, so which shouldn't be too hard. All right, let's see. Daniel's mulliganing.
So he'll go down to 6, and we'll see if he stays there or if he goes further. So based on his deck, do you think that, where's the limit? How far can he go down before he's just got to keep whatever he's got?
I don't know. In Limited, you can mulligan pretty far down.
Yeah.
And still have a competitive hand. I think Daniel can go down to 5 if necessary. Looks like he's got a couple of Whirler Rogue. That was the name of the card.
There you go.
Whirler Rogue. So yep, both players are happy with their hands. We still, unfortunately, do not have the what's been dubbed the Vancouver Mulligan rule with the scry on the top. Unfortunately, we don't have that. We're just waiting for Wizards to give everyone the okay on that. Everyone seems to love it. I haven't heard any negative feedback from that. So, all right, Daniel plays a Swamp and the Ghoul. Yep. 2 mana, 2/3 comes into play tapped. Shambling Ghoul, I think maybe not.
So he's got a creature on the board first,
and then this is the 2 mana 2/2 when it enters the battlefield, gain 2 life for each card of the same name that you have, so he's going to gain 2 life.
Let's see if Daniel comes back with something.
Daniel plays a Swamp. I assume he would attack first before he does anything.
Yeah, it looks like he may have something in his hand that he's thinking about playing.
Yeah, and there's an attack.
Yeah.
He's going to offer the block. I don't think Kris is going to block, though. I think he's going to be the more aggressive deck in this. Yeah. And there, he just goes back down to 20.
So. Especially having already gained the 2 life.
Exactly. Oh, so he's going to cast Read the Bones.
Yep, so he'll go down by 2.
He'll go down to 18, so he gets to scry 2 first. He takes a look at his cards, takes a look at his hand. And he puts the land. I think the land's going to go to the bottom. Yeah, land's going to go to the bottom, and he's going to keep 1 card in hand and draw another one. So like I said, Daniel's playing the setup type game.
Right.
He plays an early blocker. It's not a bad blocker, especially since he was on the play.
Yeah. So right now, and then
or on the draw
of a swing.
Daniel goes down to 16. All right, and just pass the turn back. Kris seems to be missing some red mana here.
Yeah.
It's
I
not
see
going to be
some red
good.
in the hand, but not the mana to power it. So
see if I think he might have a Whirler Rogue in hand, which he might play post combat.
So that'll take Kris down to 18.
That'll take Kris down to 18. And Towergeist. So he gets to look at the top 2 cards of his library, put one of his into his hand, the other into his graveyard.
Right.
So not a bad card at all, especially for a 2/3 flyer. So he looks at Stratus Dancer and Island, I think. He'll probably take the Stratus Dancer, or not the Stratus Dancer, Stratus Walk.
Right.
2 mana enchantment. Oh, he put the Island into his hand. Okay. He must have something in his hand. He must be out of lands.
Yeah. Looking for a 5-drop.
Ah, Kris finds his land. Okay, here we go. He's got stuff to do now. What's he going to do? Okay, this is the 2/1. Put a 1/1 Thopter into play. There's a 1/1 Thopter.
There you go.
So Kris is starting, and he offers a trade with a Towergeist.
And
Daniel does not take.
Not going to take it.
No, does not take.
We'll just go down to 14.
Yeah. So Kris is going to start accumulating a mass of creatures and try to get Daniel. So he overpowers Daniel that way. But I think Daniel, because he was stalled out on because Kris was stalled out on mana, don't think
he's got a window here. So.
Yeah, he's got a window here where he can kind of push through, especially since he's got the evasion. Although Kris does have a 1/1 Thopter to block now.
There you go. So that'll stop a flyer for 1 turn, which when you're playing the more aggressive deck, just keeping that damage off the board can be what wins it for you.
Daniel's really thinking about it. Can't really exactly tell what Daniel has in hand, but here he comes with the swings. I like this attack. The worst he can do is double chump. And
right. Yeah,
so Daniel would keep all his entire board, and Kris would just lose his entire play.
Especially knowing that Daniel is in evasion and has flying. Seeing that.
Here's the combat tricks I was telling about. Okay. Yeah. So I told you he had a lot of combat tricks. So he blocks with the Thopter, plays +1/+1, right, and prevent all damage dealt to it this turn. So really, really good play by Kris right there. Kind of swings the board his way.
Yeah. Keeps his flying blocker out there, so...
Yeah, we'll see if Daniel has any follow-up to kind of counteract that, to make sure the tempo swings back his way. 4 mana, and... Oh! Daniel makes his own flyer. So now Daniel has a creature with two more creatures with flying.
Yeah. Kris is mulling it over. And he's going to tap everything.
Okay, 5 manas.
And he's casting before attacks, so let's see what he's got.
For 5 mana... It could be Imprint Tactician. That's 4, I think. Gives +1/+1 to all your creatures.
Right. Which would make sense as a before attack cast.
Yes, definitely. Or it could be the heavy infantry. It's 5 mana. When it enters the battlefield, tap target creature a player controls. So you could just tap down the Thopter, but I think the blue creature that Daniel played does have flying in and of itself.
All right, so it's an enchantment. It looks like.
Looks like it might have been a spell. Oh no, Knightly Valor. Okay, so +2/+2, and put a 2/2 with Vigilance onto the battlefield.
Oh, okay, there you
so
go.
He puts that on his Wanderer, his Cleric of the Forward Order. And so that's a 4/4 with Vigilance now. And then he swings in with that. And Daniels just looks like he's going to chump block here. Daniel just chump block with the token. Because the creature that Daniel played is 1/2 flyer. So that can block his Thopter token.
Right.
Alright. Daniel needs a big draw here. Things are not looking good for him.
Yeah, because he's got a 4/2 and a 2/2 with Vigilance sitting across from him.
Yep, and then he's got a 4/4 with Vigilance, a 2/2 with Vigilance, a 1/1 flyer. There we go. There's some tokens.
There we go. Yeah.
And then a 2/1 is the red creature.
So it's starting to stack up against them.
Yeah, that Knightly Valor is one of my favorite cards in the set to play. It was really I really enjoyed playing it back in Gatecrash as well.
Right, yeah.
That was one of my favorite draft formats. All right, let's see what Daniel's going to do here.
I do like watching draft. I'm primarily a constructed player, but...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, whenever I'm at an event, I love drafting. It's one of my... I don't know. I love listening to podcasts about it. I love... doing it myself. He plays Water Courser. I think that is so it's 3 mana for 2/3. You can pay 1 blue, and it gives it +1/-1.
Okay.
So it could be a 2/3, or you can turn it into a 3/2 or a 4/1. So it's kind of like got an Aetherling feel to it, except it doesn't go either way. It doesn't go both ways.
Right.
You can't make it a 1/4.
Yeah, and obviously can't blink it out of the way. So,
So Daniel's left up the requisite 2 mana to be able to trade with the 4/4 Vigilance if he so chooses. So actually, this is a pretty good stabilizing move here. We'll see what Kris has to do, but I believe Kris has another Knightly Valor. That would be awful. Put that on the Thopter. Or it could be a burn spell.
Well, he's committed all 5 again. All 5 mana.
Okay, so he's going to play... I can't tell what that is. That was...
Yeah, the glare is blocking it for me.
I mean, it's 5 mana, so... Totem Guide? Yeah, Totem Guide Harpbeast. When you enter the battlefield, you may search your library for an aura card, reveal it, and put it into your hand. I think that's what it is. I think Daniel might be sitting on a counterspell. Trying to decide if this resolves.
No, it looks like he's already untapped his mana.
Oh, okay. So
we're
maybe
on to Daniel's turn.
Maybe it wasn't that. I'm not sure what that card was. Some creature of some sort.
Creature of some sort.
But it was 5 mana. It might have been an enchantment. Actually, it probably was a heavy... It might have been a heavy infantry. Alright, Kris goes... Daniel's going with a Stratus Dance on his Water Courser. So that's going to be flying.
Right.
And but he gives up the ability to block the 4/4 Vigilance.
Yeah, I think at this point though, when you're sitting across from what he is, you know, maybe he's just thinking he's gonna try to outpace
That's quite possible. All right, let's see what we have from Kris here. Chris's board is pretty dominating at this point. Daniel doesn't really have. I mean, especially since Daniel, I think Stratus Stance makes it so it only has the ability to block creatures with flying.
Right. So, and especially with that Thopter sitting across and being able to block for one turn, I don't know that was the right play to give flying.
We got a looker. Okay. He's looking at this one. This one looks like Kythian Tactics, I think. No, it was 2 mana. So... No, it was 3 mana. I think it was another enchantment of some sort.
Right.
Kris is attacking, and Daniel decides to chump block. So no life point exchange here. This game's kind of gumming up a little bit. And Daniel's gonna blow his Evolving Wilds, go fetch something.
Right now, unless Daniel can make a big play, though, it's really stacking up against him.
It is. I agree. I'm surprised that Kris did not swing with his 4/4 Vigilance. He might not recognize that Daniel's Watercourser can't block it anymore. Because that's what was holding him back. I don't think he wanted to trade the Vigilance with the Watercourser. Here you go. Daniel untaps, and Scap Goliath, I believe, was the draw. Which I think Daniel has enough cards in his graveyard to be able to cast that. That's a 6/9.
Right.
When you cast it, you have to exile 2 cards from your graveyard.
And it looks like he's got 5 in there, so definitely has enough to power that.
Yeah, we have to exile 2 creature cards, so it's kind of like not as easy.
Yeah.
Not like Delve, but.
Well, I know he's got an Evolving Wild. He's got a.
Yeah, I think he's got the. He's playing. I think he's going to play the Scab Goliath now. Yeah, and he gets rid of 2 creatures, so he gets rid of the. The Towergeist, and then the Aspiring Aeronaut, which was the one that made the Thopter.
Right.
So now Daniel has a pretty significant blocker, a 6/9, and that might come up the board even more.
Yeah. So we do seem like we've managed to
Suppression Bonds. Nice big creature you got there. And Daniel decides to chump block with the... I don't know if Daniel can make that play. I guess that was a flying creature then. It might be Charging Griffin.
I think he's got... Is it covered now? Or
something with an enchantment on it. Yeah. Daniel's on the back pedal right now, though.
Definitely.
He doesn't have very much removal in his deck.
He's got 1 blocker, and he's sitting across from a host of good stuff that is going to be heading straight for his face on Kris's next turn. So.
Yep.
Trying to think of what might help him. I don't know if he managed to draft like a displacement wave or something like that. But that would kind of be the ideal situation.
Yeah. Looking through his deck list, I don't remember him having a displacement wave.
So Daniel plays Angus obviously would be helpful.
Yes, obviously. Daniel plays the Dead Bridge Shaman, so 3/1. So that's a pretty good blocker. When it dies, opponent has to discard a card. Right now the tempo is swinging all towards Kris, though. And Daniel's going to take 2 more, read the bones, so he goes down to 12. Our first life total change in a while. Daniel sees 2 lands and does not want to draw that, so he bottoms. Draws 2 cards. I think he drew Macabre Waltz, which is 4 mana. Sorry, 2 mana. Return 2 target creature cards from your graveyard to your hand, and then you discard a card.
Right, and I don't think he has any creatures left
in
his graveyard right now, so...
We call that a Nombo. All right, so.
And it just continues to stack up against
just stacking up the board. And Daniel has had enough. He's packing it up, yeah.
So that'll be it for Game 1. I never updated it to say Game 1, so...
So now we'll just leave it at Game 2 and take it for what it's worth. So I think the power of the 2-for-1s were really on Kris's side right there, such as the Knightly Valor. Really, really put him ahead, even though it didn't win the game for him. I mean, that's really where Kris kind of like took a step, turned the corner, if you would say, where he just kind of started going away from Daniel and getting.
Daniel was able to stall it out here and there, but he never was really able to take control of the game.
Yes, definitely.
Just got chipped away at. So we'll see what they've got on the sideboard agenda.
Yeah, I know Daniel had mentioned he had some sideboard cards that he was interested in.
Right.
And, Kris is looking at his, but I think he likes his deck the way it is. And Daniel's switching out some cards right now. Quite a couple. Looks like he's got 4. Wow. You don't usually see that much in draft. Although I think sideboarding in draft is very underutilized.
Yeah. A lot of people assume that what they included in their top 40 is the best that they've got, and ignore the possibility of anything in the sideboard.
There are some very, very good sideboard cards that you would in this draft format that you would not want to include in your main deck, such as things like Smash to Smithereens. Negate is not always great in the main board. Other hate cards that are out there for specific things.
Yeah.
So Kris might have wanted to bring in a Smash to Smithereens if he'd gotten it. There's also cards that hate out enchantments and such that you might want to bring in. So for Daniel, he might be looking at some life gain because he's up against something so fast. So he might have an enchantment. There's an enchantment that gives your creature lifelink and flying. So he might want something like that. Just give more evasion.
More evasion, and then the life gain. Anything that can force Kris to take more turns to be able to kill him. When you're dealing with a deck that wants to win fast, get creatures out on the board, and just be in the face quickly, the more turns you can make it last, the more time you have to get an upper hand on it. So
definitely.
It's one of the reasons that something like Siege Rhino performs so well against aggro decks.
Yes.
That 3 life gain, and then the ability to just run over most of what is going to be in an aggro deck.
That 2 for life, that 2-for-1 mentality that just comes along with the card is just providing the life gain plus the blocker.
Yeah.
That's very, very hard to deal with. And it's kind of the same thing with Kris with his Knightly Valor enchantment that he played there. Is kind of just gave him 2 creatures plus made 1 creature way too big for Daniel to deal with.
And anytime Daniel has something that's not going to be able to kill it in combat, Kris can just with Vigilance can just swing it without consequence and keep pounding away. So,
very, very good card. Highly, it's underrated in this draft format. I think Knightly Valor. It's an uncommon, so you don't see it as much.
Right.
But it's very, very underrated.
So we'll see if we end up with a Game 3 this go around.
Yeah, we haven't had one yet, so. And the player's talking it over here. I would assume Daniel would be on the play.
Yep. It is his choice, and usually you expect to see the person with the choice be on the play. Especially if you're facing what he now knows is a aggressive deck, just putting him a turn behind.
Daniel's hand looked like there was a good mixture of spells and lands, so I think he might keep it. Starts off with an Evolving Wilds.
Yeah, looks like Kris might be in the same situation as he was last time. I didn't see any red mana in his hand.
Oh no! Well, it turned out all right for him. So.
It did. It worked out.
Not the ideal situation that you would... I know whenever I draft, I look at my opening hand and I say, okay, what cards can I play in here? If I can only play those cards, will I win the game? Do I have a good chance? Or do I absolutely need to draw some other cards to win this game?
Yeah.
So it's kind of one of the things I do to try to make sure that I can think whether I will be able to win the game from that situation. And if the answer is no, I definitely need to draw these cards, and I could probably mulligan it out.
Yeah. So I'm not sure what was going on there with... looks like they were cutting Daniel's deck. I don't know if he maybe revealed a card he wasn't supposed to, or...
Oh, interesting. 2 mana. The gain 2 life, so Kris gains 2 life, goes up to 2. The Cleric of the Forward Order. And Daniel played an artifact that he drew a card off of. Alchemist Vial.
Yeah.
Sacrifice Alchemist Vial. Target creature can't attack or block, and when it enters the battlefield, draw a card. So he's going on like a little of a more block strategy. Because he played a Maritime Guard,
well,
a 1/3 for 2.
I think one of the ideas of that, having seen the Knightly Valor, it's gonna make Kris think about putting Knightly Valor on something when he can just crack that, and you put the Knightly Valor on, and now that creature can't attack. So.
Exactly.
And looks like Daniel's going to read the bones again.
That's a great card. I love that time. I love that card. It's kind of giving Daniel a chance to stay alive in this game.
Yeah.
Being able to get through to the cards that matter.
Yeah,
the most.
Like the other things, yeah, that's why we creep in.
So.
Oh, there's the red mana.
Yeah.
He's the better mana
so
that Kris
it's
needed.
much earlier in the game this go around than it was last time.
Right on curve too.
Yeah.
Well, he's 1 land drop behind, so. And so this is the 3 mana 2/2 with Renowned, and it's got First Strike as well. A Crowan Sergeant, very very good card. It's a good uncommon.
So Daniel's
he's
got another one.
Another Alchemist Vial. Okay, so he's drawing some cards here.
He's getting the card draw, and
I wonder if he plays, and he's also got the blue draw card that says if you draw 2 at instant speed, and if you have if you control an artifact, you don't have to discard a card, but if you don't, then you have to.
Right.
What's that card's name?
So a swing from Kris. We'll
and
take
then
Daniel down to 16, and there was a block.
Block on the Maritime Guard. So that's great, because once that becomes a 3/3 with First Strike, kind of gets out of hand. So 3 mana for a Knight of the Pilgrim Road.
Yeah, looks like it.
A 3/2 with Renown. Or it could, I think it's a Stalwart Avid. The 3 mana 1/3 with Renown. 1/3 and flying with Renown. So that's pretty good. That's going to give him something in the air to start getting some damage through. And Scryfish. All right, perfect. We got double blockers. We're good to go on the ground.
Yeah, but right now Kris is in a position where he can just beat away in the air.
Yep. And another land. And he's swinging with everyone. Okay. So he must have like some sort of combat trick.
Yeah.
So if you're in Daniel's position here, you're wondering, okay, what can you have? And you got to think why would you make this attack?
Yeah, especially with all your mana up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You've got to assume that something's coming out.
So he didn't have any tricks there. He just decided to go in. So the Renown triggers, and Daniel goes down to 15. There you go. Thank you. White dice do not go on white permanents. And 2 mana. The bully. Played a bully.
I'm actually going to cast 2 cards and
Mage Ring bully.
Devote all of his mana.
And then the spirits he played.
Yeah. So I wonder, maybe Kris might have had a combat trick and then decided, since he wasn't going to lose anything out of that he just decided, I won't devote the mana and take that card out of my hand now. I'll save it for later. So, especially if it's something that pumps multiple creatures, the more stuff you're getting through.
So you can see the big difference in the 2 styles. Here comes Away to the Underworld. So get rid of those flying spirits that whenever you cast an enchantment, it gets +1/+1.
Yeah.
The kind of the big difference between the 2 decks, where one deck is like, oh, I'm going to play this artifact that lets me draw a card, or I'm going to play this other artifact, or I'm going to play this Read the Bones, while one person just like, let me get all my creatures on the battlefield.
Just drop the creatures and
I'm just going to start swinging.
Turn them sideways.
And it's really working out much better for one of them.
We got that's Nightly Valor right there. And
if I was in Kris's position, I think I would put that on the flyer, since that it would be getting through. Like, I know you want to get your renowned dude, your first strike dude big, and then, but
there we go.
That has vigilance. Thank you to
somebody caught
the spectator. And I'm not sure what
they just untapped everything, though. It looks like
I'm not sure if this is an attack or if he's moved back.
I think Daniel's saying pre-combat. I want the ability to crack my artifacts.
And Kris really wants to attack with his tap his vigilant dude.
So it looks like he's swinging the team,
but he did not. Okay, so the Starfish blocks the and this is Hydrolash, I think is what the card is called. Hydrolash. Yeah, attacking creature gets -2/-0 until the end of turn. So put that on the Nightly Valor creature, the Acroan Crusader, or
so it looks like they're discussing.
And then, that made it a 2/2 again, or 2/4, and so the Sigil Starfish survived.
Right.
And so Daniel took some damage there. He took 2 in the air, and then 2 from the Mage Ring bully.
So that will put him at 11.
I think it should be down to 11.
Right.
He hasn't moved the die yet, so I'm not sure. But my calculations, that should be down to 11. He's looking at a Bone to Ash right now on top. Besides, scry that to the bottom.
With the Scryfish.
So I believe his die shows that he's down to 15, but I believe he took damage from the Mage Ring bully and the flyer, the Aven. Plays another swamp.
He's got a load of mana, but let's see if he has anything to do with it.
He's not being very he's doing things, but he's not dealing with the board situation. It's just creating more of a stall. Oh wow, okay. So this is this is his big demon that he has. Korthofed, Soul Hoarder, 6 mana for a 6/6 flyer. Whenever a permanent owned by another player is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, you draw a card and you lose 1 life.
Okay.
So kind of a lot of card advantage plus a big body. So this is kind of stall out the board.
Yeah, and Kris has a deck where he needs to swing, and now you're in a situation where swinging is going to cause you to fuel your opponent's hand, which...
So he's tapping out. He might be playing a heavy infantry here. This is the same card we saw before, which I couldn't figure out then. I still can't figure out now.
Especially he keeps putting it right in the glare
spot. And Daniel's taking a look at it right now, and it looks like
it's putting a counter on his flyer, another counter on his flyer.
Okay. So anything that has a +1/+1 counter on it. Yes, Patron of the Valiant. When Patron of the Valiant enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it. Okay. And it's flying.
That's so there's some more flying.
But it's only a 4/4. So he's still coming in here, and he must have this one combat trick up, so...
He's got no mana to be playing combat tricks.
He does have one...
So, he does have one white open.
Which will +1/+1 and prevent all combat damage, or prevent all damage that we've dealt to him.
Right.
So here it is, yeah. So that's going to pump that up to a 5/5. Not enough to kill. Oh, and then negate. Oh, wow. Okay.
Okay, so...
So this is going to be 2 permanents that go to the graveyard for him. Daniel's going to take another 3, 4, 5 damage. Although there is a prowess trigger, so 5, 6 damage, I believe. So, and then two permanents go into the graveyard. So...
That would be.
I still don't think Daniel got his life total from last turn.
Right.
I might have to go C.
So Daniel would lose 2.
So he's down to 7.
Right.
Okay.
And then he's
because there was a prowess trigger, assuming that Kris remembered the prowess trigger.
Right. And then he'll lose.
And then he'll lose 2 more and draw 2.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So at this low of a life total, I don't know if this demon is going to be exactly what Daniel needs right now, though. Yeah. Sure, he's blocking things, but he's also losing life. So there's a big trade. Now he does have his Alchemist Vials, which he can use to make it so things can't attack the next turn.
But he hasn't gotten in
Stratus Walk. Okay, he's putting that on his Maritime Guard. So that's going to make it a 3/3 with flying. He gets to draw a card. And I don't know if Daniel might be stabilizing at the moment. He had the big 3 for 1. He got rid of the enchantment, the combat trick, and the creature, all for just a negate.
Setting some mana aside, but I don't know. There, he'll tilt it and
the ghoul,
right.
The zombie,
and then he'll pass the turn. So he's definitely got a better board state than he did, say, 2 turns ago.
I agree. He's kind of turned the corner. And attack with everything. That's vigilant. Although Daniel might be backing up to say, okay, hold on, I want to make it so some things can't attack this turn. Yep, here we go.
So do that.
Your flyer can't attack. Or maybe not. Okay.
No, he's pulling the trigger on that.
That can't attack. I think he went with a flyer. Yeah, the 4/4. And he might be saving the other one for another time.
Alright, so now we're entering combat.
Okay. So I think the blocks here are, you put that the 6/6 on the majoring. You put the Maritime Guard on the... Oh, no, actually put the Maritime Guard there. Nope, that can't block that. Yeah, Kevin Bongiovanni, that's who's looking over. He says can't block that.
So he's gonna have, if he's gonna block, he's gonna have to block with flyer.
The flyer
with the Maritime Guard.
Which I don't know if you. It only has it's 3 toughness, so it would kill it. So Sigil Starfish has got to go. Yeah, he's got a block there.
He's got a block there. So there's the blocks. It looks like.
And his Maritime Guard's going to die. Which is unfortunate. I think he should have made it so.
He's going to take damage, it looks like, from the Vigilant. No,
yeah, so okay. Kill the Vigilance token.
Reassigning.
Yeah, it's kind of saying, oh, can I block with this? I wish I could. Nope, sorry, Daniel. Can't block with it. It is tapped. And so Daniel's going to take 2 here. that permanent goes to the graveyard, and then it ceases to exist, but it's a permanent going to the graveyard.
Right.
So Daniel does lose 1 life.
And draw a card. And now, is that optional, or...
It is not optional, and that's the thing about it, which is...
Yeah.
So Daniel does go to 4.
And he draws a card.
And luckily he does have the Alchemist Vial as well, so he can still make it so the Angel doesn't attack next turn.
Yeah. Which is what he's going to need to do, it looks like. If the board state stays as it is, he's going to have to make sure that doesn't get through, or he's going to be just about out of it.
Yeah. See, the players seem to be arguing about something right now.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Oh, Kris has his just Mountain in his hand.
Double Mountain in the hand. So.
Okay. Daniel untaps. I think he might be stabilized. We might be seeing a game 3 here.
He's got to do something about that flyer. Looks like he's exiling. Or checking to see if he has 2 creatures in his graveyard.
Oh, does he have a Scab-Goliath in hand? He needs some more flyers.
He definitely needs that.
Daniel's sure is thinking about it. Rearranges his mana. Kind of like take a step back. Okay, let's look at the situation. The Majoring Bully has to come in next turn. Has to attack. So I think if you let that attack, block that with the Starfish, so it doesn't die, and then block the 2/3 Ghoul on the 2/2, and then make it so the 4/4 can't attack, and then see if he attacks in with the big flyer. Now this is the owl. I think that's the 5 mana 3/3 owl with prowess.
Well, Daniel's in an interesting position right now because he's got to block whatever gets sent across from Kris.
Obviously.
But he also has to block it in such a way that it doesn't die.
Exactly.
And Kris has time, life total wise, to with Daniel having to leave Kris's creatures on the board to maybe bring stuff out and make sure he can push through.
I believe is that a Molten Vortex in his hand that he just drew? So if he plays that, then okay, I would have waited till after combat to see if Daniel would have taken any damage or not. But this just actually makes it very, very interesting because he's got 2 lands in hands. Both are mountains.
Right.
So if he plays the 1 land, discards the other one to deal 2 damage to Daniel directly, then Daniel can't let any of Kris's permanents die, or else he just loses.
Yeah. And like I said, then
it looks like Daniel might be thinking about negating this. I think he might have a negate in hand.
I think anything that's dealing direct damage right now, you would have to.
Okay, so now Daniel's just saying, okay, this thing can't attack this turn.
Looks like he's trying to decide what he wants to keep from attacking.
Yes, and he's kind of like sweeping the table for us in such a manner to do so. Okay, so I mean, you got to make the 4/4 flyer.
It's got to be the flyer.
One of the flyers, because you can't let the other ones come across.
Yeah.
Because if they both come across and you only have he has 2 flying blockers now actually.
Right.
So he's going to make the Majoring Bully not be able to attack this turn. Interesting choice. The Majoring Bully does have a prowess trigger on it right now, so it is a 3/3.
Right. Well, and Daniel's Demon is any time a permanent goes into the graveyard.
Into the graveyard, yes.
So not only does he have to not let any of Kris's creatures die, he's got to block so his creatures don't die also.
So he made it so that the 3/5 is can't attack this turn. Okay. And here are the blocks. So Daniel is actually only going to have...
He's going to take damage.
He's going to take no damage, but it's going to lose 2 life. Right. And I think Kris just plays the land and then Molten Vortexes, and then this game should be over.
Right.
So I think that's just what he's going to do. Play the land, Molten Vortex, and now here's the game. There's the game.
Okay.
And yeah, and so he's sloughed off. Oh, he's going to scry in response. And yeah, nothing. Yeah. So still, no game 3.
Yeah, so no game 3s.
What a rough. I mean, Daniel was on the back foot for a lot of that game. And it's just the difference in the 2 styles of decks.
Yeah. Daniel came very close in both games to being able to stabilize and get there. Mm-hmm. But, Kris just stuck with the game plan and kept coming after him and eventually overwhelmed. So
yeah. And so the demon was both a savior and a curse at the same time, which is quite interesting.
So, all right. Well, we'll see you back for. You're done after this round?
I am done. I have to head out, but it was a pleasure being in the booth here with you.
You too.
Thank you, good sir.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, I'll have to come back another time.
Yep. And I'll be back for round 2 of draft.
Yes, excellent. Bye, everyone.